Welcome to Brain Bite Size. Have you ever pondered the intricate reasons behind our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors? Today, we'll uncover 11 thought-provoking insights that might reshape your understanding of yourself and the people around you. Number 1. The lifelong impact of early experiences. This phenomenon refers to the tendency for older adults to have increased recollection of events from their adolescence and early adulthood. But why does this happen? One of the primary reasons is that during our formative years, we experience a lot of firsts: first love, first job, first heartbreak, and so on. These experiences are often emotionally charged, making them more memorable. Our brains are wired to remember emotionally intense experiences better than mundane ones. Our brains still develop during early adulthood, and our experiences can leave a lasting imprint. This is because our brains are exceptionally receptive and malleable during these years, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. Moreover, the reminiscence bump isn't just about memory, it has profound implications for our identity and personality. Our early experiences shape our attitudes, beliefs, and life goals. For instance, if, during your early years, you had a positive experience with volunteering at a local shelter, you might develop an enduring belief in the importance of community service. Similarly, a negative experience, like bullying, could influence your attitude towards social justice issues. Number 2. Solving problems from a distance. The Solomon's paradox phenomenon is an intriguing aspect of human psychology. Named after the biblical King Solomon, who was known for his wisdom yet made poor decisions in his personal life, this paradox explains why individuals often find it easier to solve other people's problems than their own. When embroiled in our issues, our judgment can be clouded by emotions, bias, and personal stakes, making it difficult to see the situation objectively. However, when we consider someone else's problem, we can view it from a distance, approaching it more clearly and detached. One practical way to utilize Solomon's paradox in your problem-solving process is to envision your problem from a third-person perspective. Ask yourself, what would I advise someone else? This mental shift can declutter your thought process and allow you to evaluate your options objectively. Moreover, research suggests that this paradox doesn't just apply to individuals but also groups. Teams or organizations can also benefit from seeking external perspectives to overcome complex challenges. Number 3. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you ever encountered someone who confidently showcases their lack of knowledge or skill in a particular area? Well, meet the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. Named after psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger, this cognitive bias refers to the paradox where individuals with low competence at a task often overestimate their abilities while remaining blissfully unaware of their limitations. The Dunning-Kruger effect can be seen in various aspects of life, from workplace dynamics to social interactions. For instance, think about those holiday family gatherings where a relative might passionately argue about a subject they know little about. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect at work. They confidently believe they're an expert despite clear evidence to the contrary. This cognitive bias arises because these individuals lack the expertise to recognize their deficiencies. As Dunning and Kruger noted in their research, the miscalibration of the incompetent stems from an error about the self, whereas the miscalibration of the highly competent stems from an error about others. In simpler terms, those with limited skills can't gauge their incompetence, and those who are skilled may underestimate their competence because tasks seem more accessible to them than they are. Number 4. Canines and their owners. The relationship between canines and their owners is a topic that has fascinated researchers for years. Studies suggest an intriguing link between dog owners and their pets' behavior, particularly regarding aggression. Hostile individuals tend to own more aggressive dogs, but what drives this correlation? One study explored canine aggression towards familiar people. The findings suggested that the interactions between the owner and the dog play a crucial role in developing aggressive behaviors. How an owner responds to their pet's actions, the environment they provide, and their personality traits can all contribute to a dog's behavioral development. Another study concluded that dog aggressive behavior is affected by demographic, environmental, and behavioral factors. This suggests that it's not just the individual dog or breed that determines aggression levels but also the context in which the dog is raised and lives. So, is the aggression a reflection of the owner's personality, environment, or both? The research indicates it's a combination of both. The personality and behavior of the owner can have a significant impact on a dog's behavior. Simultaneously, the environment in which the dog is raised peaceful, stressful, or stimulating can play a pivotal role. Number 5. The power of daydreaming. Daydreaming, letting your mind wander away from the task, is often perceived as a sign of distraction or lack of focus. However, scientific research suggests that daydreaming could signify higher intelligence and creativity. Those who often find themselves lost in thought during monotonous tasks or meetings might have an edge in brain function. A study found that individuals who reported more frequent daydreaming scored higher on intellectual and creative ability measures. They also had more efficient brain systems measured in the MRI machine. The reason behind this correlation lies in the workings of our brain. When we daydream, our minds are not simply drifting aimlessly. Instead, we are engaging the brain's default mode network, DMN, which involves various cognitive processes, including envisioning the future, recalling memories, and understanding others' perspectives. Engaging the DMN requires a certain level of cognitive capacity. Thus, those who daydream often might demonstrate that their brains can process thoughts and scenarios even when focused on the outside world. This mental agility can translate into higher creativity, allowing individuals to make unique connections between disparate ideas. Moreover, daydreaming can also serve as a form of mental rehearsal. We might be better prepared to face similar real-life situations by imagining different scenarios or outcomes. Number 6. The pain of rejection. The pain of rejection is a universal human experience. Rejection can sting deeply, whether it's being turned down for a job, experiencing a breakup, or not being included in a social event. But have you ever noticed that this emotional hurt can feel like physical pain? As it turns out, this is not just your imagination. The brain, indeed, processes social rejection in a way that mirrors physical pain. A study found that the same areas of the brain that become active during physical pain also light up when we experience rejection. This includes the anterior cingulate cortex and the right ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, regions associated with the pain alarm that triggers an immediate response to potential harm. The researchers proposed that this overlap in brain activity could be traced back to our evolutionary past. Humans are social creatures, and our survival once depended on our ability to form and maintain social connections. In this context, being ostracized from the group would have been a dire threat to survival. Therefore, it makes sense that our brains would develop a system to warn us of the danger of social rejection, using the same signals to warn us of physical harm. Understanding how our brains process rejection can also provide insight into why some people seem to feel the sting of rejection more acutely than others. Just as we all have different thresholds for physical pain, we also have different sensitivities to social pain. Factors such as our past experiences, self-esteem, and even genetics can influence how intensely we experience the pain of rejection. Number 7. The language of decision-making. The language we use can have a profound impact on our decision-making process. Surprisingly, making decisions in a foreign language can often lead to more rational and less biased choices. This fascinating phenomenon is due to the cognitive processes involved in using a foreign language. When we use our native language, our decision-making process tends to be fast, intuitive, and often influenced by emotional biases. We're more likely to rely on gut feelings or instinctive reactions. However, when we switch to a foreign language, this pattern changes. Using a foreign language requires cognitive effort. It involves suppressing our native language and intuitions, which prompts us to slow down and think more deliberately. This shift from an intuitive to a more analytical mode of thinking can help us make more rational decisions. A study found that typical cognitive biases less influenced individuals who made decisions in a foreign language. For example, they were less likely to avoid losses, a behavior known as loss aversion, one of the most robust findings in behavioral economics. This doesn't mean switching to a foreign language will always lead to better decisions. But it does suggest that the language we use can influence how we think and make choices. So, the next time you face a tough decision, consider pondering it in a different language. It might just help you see things from a new perspective and make a more rational choice. Number 8. Blaming behavior on personality. The fundamental attribution error is a common cognitive bias that significantly impacts our perceptions and interactions. It refers to the tendency to attribute others' behaviors to their character traits while attributing our actions to external circumstances. Say, for example, a colleague misses a deadline. You might be quick to think that they are irresponsible or disorganized. However, if you were in the same situation, you'd likely attribute your missed deadline to an unexpected workload increase or other external factors. This bias stems from our limited perspective. We completely understand our own circumstances and experiences, but we only see a fraction of what others experience. Therefore, it's easier to attribute our behaviors to events because we are fully aware of them. In contrast, we're prone to attributing others' actions to their personality because we don't have full insight into their situations. The fundamental attribution error can have profound implications on human behavior and relationships. It can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and unfair judgments. By assuming that people's actions directly reflect their character, we risk oversimplifying their behavior and overlooking the influence of situational factors. Becoming aware of this bias is the first step towards mitigating its effects. The next time you find yourself blaming someone's behavior on their personality, take a moment to consider the potential external factors at play. Similarly, when you credit your actions to circumstances, ask yourself if any character traits might also influence your behavior. This balanced perspective can help foster understanding and empathy, enhancing our interactions with others. Number 9. The third-person effect. The third-person effect is a fascinating psychological phenomenon that significantly impacts our understanding of mass media and its influence. It refers to the belief that persuasive messages, such as advertisements or public service announcements, affect others more significantly than ourselves. In other words, we tend to perceive ourselves as less susceptible to media influences than the average person. This cognitive bias can be traced back to our need to maintain a positive self-concept. Recognizing that advertisements influence us might make us feel vulnerable or manipulated, which conflicts with our desire to see ourselves as independent and rational individuals. As a result, we attribute more influence to these messages on others, thereby preserving our self-image. However, this belief is often misguided. Numerous studies have shown that mass media can subtly shape our attitudes, beliefs, and desires, even if we don't consciously realize it. For instance, it can influence our perceptions of beauty standards, political views, or buying habits. Interestingly, the third-person effect also impacts how we respond to media content. People who strongly believe that certain media content will negatively affect others are more likely to support censorship of that content. This shows that the third-person effect can have real-world consequences, influencing our perceptions and actions. Number 10. The dopamine seeker. Dopamine, often called the feel-good neurotransmitter, is significant in our endless scrolling on social media platforms. While it's commonly associated with pleasure, dopamine is more accurately involved with anticipating pleasure. It motivates us to seek rewards and reinforces the act of seeking. When we scroll through our social media feeds, each new post or update represents a potential reward. It could be a funny meme, an interesting article, or a like on our latest post. The uncertainty of what we'll find next fuels our curiosity and keeps us scrolling. Each time we encounter something rewarding, our brain releases dopamine, reinforcing this information-seeking behavior. This process is analogous to a slot machine. We keep pulling the lever or, in this case, scrolling because we don't know what to get next. The unpredictability of the outcomes keeps us engaged and hooked. This phenomenon is known as variable ratio reinforcement, and it's one of the most effective ways to encourage a specific behavior. Moreover, our brains are wired to seek novelty. Novel stimuli activate the dopamine system, prompting us to explore and learn more. Social media platforms capitalize on this by constantly providing us with new content, making them particularly addictive. Understanding the role of dopamine in our social media use can help us manage our screen time more effectively. By being aware of how these platforms are designed to hook us in, we can take steps to regulate our usage, such as setting time limits or using apps that block access after a certain period. Number 11. The longevity of kindness. The act of giving back, whether through volunteering or helping others, has profound effects on our health and well-being. It's an interesting paradox that by focusing on others, we can significantly benefit ourselves. One of the primary ways this happens is by releasing endorphins, often called helper's high. This physical sensation occurs when we help others, leading to feelings of euphoria and a general sense of well-being. The release of endorphins makes us feel good at the moment and helps reduce stress and anxiety over time. Moreover, volunteering and helping others can provide a sense of purpose and meaning in life. It allows us to connect with others and contribute to something larger than ourselves. This sense of connection and purpose has been linked to improved mental health, increased happiness, and even lower rates of depression. But the benefits don't stop there. Research has shown that individuals who volunteer regularly have a lower mortality rate than those who do not. They also have lower rates of heart disease and better overall physical health. While the exact mechanisms are still being explored, it's believed that the social connections formed through volunteering and the positive emotions generated from helping others contribute to these health benefits. These psychological insights shed light on the complexities of human behavior, but remember, they're just a glimpse into the vast field of psychology. If you found these facts as intriguing as we did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe for more brain bite-sized content, and hit that notification bell to stay updated. And, as always, explore our other videos to dive deeper into the fascinating world of the human mind. Thanks for watching.